Chapter 1299, Milk and Honey. The Forsaken Land of the Gods, Moon City. When Adal, Zin, and Ruz heard the high priest's voice resound throughout the city, they became abnormally excited. They stood up almost at the same time and carried the beast hide bags that they had prepared earlier on their backs. Inside were distributed mushroom powder, dried mushrooms, and various monster leathers, as well as different beyonder characteristics of different states. To them, even though they were excited and were full of hope for the future, the suffering they had been through made them take precautions. They tried their best to carry as much food as possible. A few flashes of lightning before, the priests of Moon City had received Mr. Fool's divine revelation and stopped sending out hunting teams. They also instructed every resident to pack their important items and prepare to leave at a moment's notice. In less than a minute, Adal and company walked out of their houses with lanterns in hand and arrived on the streets. As their eyes met, their faces, which were either filled with tumors or deformities, were filled with unconcealed joy. They had no negative emotions towards abandoning Moon City and leaving their hometown. This was the source of their nightmare. It was unknown how many generations of people had lost their happiness in their childhood. When they were gathered at the square with a high platform, they suppressed their excitement and lined up in an orderly manner, checking to see if the neighbors had already arrived. Soon, all the residents of Moon City arrived. High Priest Nim walked up the platform and said with a smile, "Everyone, I received a divine revelation. Mr. Fool is about to help us leave this cursed land and obtain a new lease of life. Praise be to Mr. Fool." He took the lead and pressed his right palm against his left chest. This was a gesture they had invented to praise Mr. Fool, and Mr. Fool hadn't objected to it. Praise Mr. Fool. The residents of Moon City pressed their right palms to their left chests, expressing their gratitude and devotion. As their voices echoed, the gray-haired Nim raised his hand and lowered it for silence. "We'll head to the City of Silver first and meet with the survivors there. Then, we will head to the World of Light together. Don't worry, Mr. Fool will protect us." "Okay, shut your eyes and start to pray." With that said, the high priest clasped his hands and pressed them against his lips. He sincerely prayed to Mr. Fool, hoping that the mighty existence could satisfy the greatest wish that the Moon City had accumulated over the past 2,000 to 3,000 years, generations. In the next second, the demigod of the Evernight pathway acutely sensed the changes in his surroundings. He opened his eyes, surveyed his surroundings, and discovered that stone pillars were becoming clearer. Lanterns hung on it as tall figures rapidly outlined. "This is the City of Silver. We've already arrived in the City of Silver. This is the might of a deity. Praise Mr. Fool." Adal, Zin, and company quickly observed their surroundings. They subconsciously had a certain good impression of the City of Silver. As a missionary of God, His Excellency Jayaman Sparrow had once mentioned that he had first arrived in the City of Silver after entering this cursed, forsaken land. This was the beginning of where God's brilliance spread out from the eternal darkness. It was the origins of all hope. The figures quickly became clear. Most of them were more than 2 meters tall. Their facial features and bodies were normal, and there were no signs of deformation. They too were sizing up the residents of Moon City with curious and wary gazes. Their oppressive height and the enviousness of their normality made Zin, Ruz, and the others nervous. They felt inferior and uneasy. However, with a sweep of their gaze, they saw quite a number of City of Silver residents biting mushrooms that had roasted surfaces. From time to time, they would suck the hot liquid from white, full mushrooms. This familiar scene caused the people of Moon City to gradually relax as they treated these half-giants as their own. The chief of the 6-member council, Wait Chermont, nodded and said to Nim, who was supposedly the leader of Moon City, "Are you ready?" His gaze was calm and natural. He didn't look down on them because of their terrifying appearance. Afraid that an accident would happen, Nim immediately replied, "Ready and good to go." Wait Chermont immediately cast his gaze at the City of Silver residents. "Finish your meal within 3 minutes and begin praying." In less than a minute, the residents of the City of Silver finished their milk and put away the remaining food in their hands. They sincerely prayed to Mr. Fool. The miraculous descent of the ancient survivors of Moon City made them more confident in leaving the forsaken land of the gods. They truly believed in Mr. Fool. A few seconds later, everyone in the city of Silver's training ground disappeared. The city was left completely silent. Soon, the corrupted weeds would grow, and monsters would wander around the streets and houses. In just a few blinks of an eye, the residents of the city of Silver and Moon City arrived in front of the giant king's palace, which had the dusk frozen. This was a ritual that Klein had deliberately planned. It was to allow the ancient survivors of the forsaken land of the gods to bid farewell to the past. Shocked by the grandeur, epicness, and mythical impression of the giant king's court, the residents of the city of Silver subconsciously turned their heads and looked down and into the distance. Beyond the orange-red dusk, the ground was completely blanketed in darkness. Occasionally, lightning would flash across the sky, revealing the outline of ancient buildings, towering mountains, and the deformed plants. As the lightning descended, darkness surged in again, devouring everything. Then, the city of Silver and Moon City residents turned their heads and cast their gaze deep into the giant king's palace. There was an open door, and outside the door was a blazing golden ocean. The people who were blinded by the sunlight immediately felt their surroundings become blurry, and the scene quickly shattered. The fragments quickly reassembled, turning into a deep blue ocean, the smell of fish, striking sounds, and the orange-red sun that had yet to come close to the horizon. The residents of Moon City and the City of Silver looked around in shock and anticipation. They saw the luxuriant forest that wasn't distorted at all. They saw the stone buildings that had yet to have been refurbished. They saw Lievel and company and saw the path towards the harbor and the ship that was docked there. Many people's vision turned blurry, as though they were undergoing the catharsis of the holy light. They could clearly sense that there was no depravity, filth, or mysterious power here. Most of the City of Silver and Moon City residents lowered their heads and knelt on the ground, praising Mr. Fool loudly as they kissed the sweet-smelling soil. It wasn't that the others weren't grateful to Mr. Fool, but that they were still spellbound by such a scene. Every fiber of their being was shocked. After they recovered from their initial shock, Lievel went up to meet his wife and daughter. As he approached, he couldn't hold back his excitement and joy. He opened his mouth, wanting to tell his wife and children what he had seen and heard during this period of time. However, he realized that there were just too many things he wanted to share. Like countless rushing rivers, they surged to his throat and blocked his voice. After a few seconds, Lievel said, We have a new home." Before he could finish his sentence, the nearly 2.5-meter-tall half-giant hurriedly reached his hand into his pocket and extended it towards his wife and daughter. "This is given to us by the Oracle milk candy. All of them say it's delicious." A smile appeared on Lievel's face. There were two objects which were the size of a thumb and wrapped in thin sheets of paper. Its surface was wrinkled, having soaked in a little sweat. Milk candy? Lievel's wife didn't quite understand this term. It was a new word in Jotun that mixed milk and honey. Their daughter was infected by her father's emotions. She boldly took the candy and was about to stuff it into her mouth. No, you have to peel off the outer layer." Lievel hurriedly took back the two milk candy and peeled off the wrapper before handing one each to his wife and daughter. His daughter bit down and ground her teeth forcefully, producing a cracking sound. She narrowed her eyes slowly, and her expression gradually became more intoxicated. During this process, she couldn't bear to even speak. Seeing her daughter's behavior, Lievel's wife ate the candy. She felt that this was a very precious thing. She didn't bite it to pieces directly, but used her oral cavity to wrap around it and let it slowly melt away. The indescribable milk fragrance and sweetness slowly spread out, intoxicating Lievel's wife. When Lievel saw this, his smile widened as he said what had been left stuck in his throat. "The Oracle said that we can find a job in Bayam City, receive commissions, and earn gold pounds. That way, we can buy more milk candy. We can also sell beyonder characteristics and monster leather we have no need for to the Church of Sea God. Sea God is Mr. Fool's subsidiary god. It'll be dark soon. I'll bring you to the beach to watch the sunset. It's really beautiful. I visit it every day. I've always been waiting to bring the two of you there when you arrive. It's finally done. My anchor has stabilized significantly. Furthermore, granting the wishes of the city of Silver and Moon City has allowed my miracle invoker potion to digest by quite a bit. However, it isn't as much as restoring Constant City. Indeed, being a god of wishes isn't the most accurate form of acting. Above the gray fog, Klein slowly exhaled and threw the Staff of the Stars back onto the junk pile. Following that, he would continue wandering and creating miracles. He would occasionally head to the forsaken land of the gods and transform some monsters into marionettes to prepare for the subsequent ritual. As for the next stage of acting as a miracle invoker, Klein planned on accumulating wishes of changing appearances and figures to solve the deformities of Moon City, thereby creating a miracle. This isn't too difficult. Many maidens and ladies have a wish to remove acne, have double eyelids, and make their noses sharper. And I have a way to do it. This way, by accumulating the simple to the difficult, it will just take a matter of time to treat the deformed people of Moon City. In the outside world, they will feel even more inferior. Klein mumbled inwardly before he suddenly laughed self-deprecatingly. In that case, I can call myself the ruler of the beauty industry, the guardian of architects and the construction workers, the miracle creator of long-distance travel. After entering the waters that didn't have a safe sea route, Queen Mystic Bernadette seemed to have lost her sense of time. If not for the precise wall clock in her captain's cabin, she definitely would have forgot how many days it had been since she entered this perilous region. The violent winds and torrential rain made the boat fly up from time to time, sometimes getting thrown to the side, as if it was a preview to the impending apocalypse. Bernadette watched calmly as she waited patiently without interfering with the dawn's situation. After some time, the storm finally calmed down. At this moment, a black outline appeared in the distance.